Yep.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this very special webinar we've got with Christo Hall, the co-founder of Basic Bananas. He's going to be telling us how to create irresistible marketing, which is something I'm sure everyone out there will appreciate. And as COVID is kind of rolling on, the more ways you can stand out, the better. Before we start, though, just a little bit of housekeeping. We've got board nominations and project group nominations happening at the moment. If you're an IBA member and you want to be on the board or want to be on one of our project groups, go check out our website. Up on the front page there's a banner. If you click on that, it'll take you through to all the details. And yeah, we're really keen to see some new people, some new faces, and really help drive how we run the IBA over the immediate future. In the meantime, I'm going to hide my screen and throw you over to Christo. If you have any questions, drop them into the chat there. And yeah, Christo, how are you going? Firstly,
Very good. Awesome. I'm good. I had a little surf this morning. Tiny waves up here in the northern beaches of Sydney. So I have about a 5-10 minute walk to my office, where I'm here in the empty office at the moment with the COVID going on. But actually, I got my dog here. He's keeping me company.
oh,
So,
excellent.
yeah.
So you've been for a surf. You've got your dog. It's already a good start to the morning.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a nice sunny day. First day of spring, isn't it, today? So we're but it's a good start. Hopefully it stays warm, continues warm.
Yeah, it's beautifully sunny out here in Melbourne.
Nice.
I'm looking forward to getting out for a walk very soon once we're finished with this. Uh,
Awesome.
for now, I'll leave it to you, Christo, and yeah, let me know if you have anything along the way.
Yep, easy, too easy. Thank you. Thanks for the intro, and of course, thanks for having me. Everything that kind of helps us fulfill our mission with Basic Bananas, being able to present for you guys. The everything we do is around helping small businesses, businesses sort of small up to medium sized, to grow their brands and get more customers and stand out in crowded market spaces, because there's obviously the always the competition. There's so many options out there in this world of different ways people can go in terms of products and services, especially with your beer. You approach the beer fridge in a bottle shop, and well, when you're allowed, and there's so many options that it's overwhelming. And how do you stand out so that people choose you? They know you, they like you, they want to choose your product. The whole thing is too, it's not just that. Like in all different industries we work with, it's a similar challenge trying to stand out in any space. Like every industry is very crowded. but you guys know it all too well. Basic Bananas, if you're wondering what we're all about, it's marketing, mentoring. We assist other business owners and marketers of small businesses to help guide them through growing their business. So like implementing really smart strategies to grow, get more sales, get more customers. So we do have a whole team behind us. Started Basic Bananas on my kitchen table about 12 years ago. That was where the first meeting room was, and then now have a office here with a couple of $1 million offers and team all around the world, and working with lots of different small businesses. And yeah, present on different like media and things. So I've been on the Today Show, been on 2GB radio about 30 times as guest business expert, and get invited to present different business events. At the moment, a lot of online Zoom events. And as for our kind of business expertise, now I'll just say it because even ourselves, there's a lot of competition even in the marketing space. Every industry has a ton of competition. So we have to position ourselves as different to stand out. Now, this is kind of like an overarching theme of marketing. When it comes to marketing, we need to constantly be striving to position ourselves as different. So most business people, when we start working with different business owners, like we have a few in IBA actually. We like Craig from Big Shed Brewing in brewery in South Oz in Adelaide. He's been a Basic Bananas customer. He worked with us for a couple of years. Also, Lockie from Newcastle, Grain Fed Brewing. He's also we've worked with him to grow his business. And Craig's actually funny. In Big Shed, we had one of our meetups, meeting up with customers. I used his premises as a place to go and meet up. So we had a bunch of Basic Bananas customers come in, and they had the little bar at the brewery. And now I haven't been back, but he said now it's like a whole new premises. It's like much bigger and super exciting. They've grown pretty awesomely. I like they've got a lot of interesting beers. Some naughty named ones. I like the Golden Stout Time. It's the Golden Gay Time sort of flavored caramelized stout. It's bloody ripper. It's a good one. But anyway, when it comes to standing out, I'll just say that this is almost like a conceptual part of marketing. I like really practical things we can do in marketing where we can kind of implement something and we can see a return, and we can do the math on like how much time or energy do we spend and how much do we get back. This one's kind of a bit more conceptual because you've got to be across everything. Every single touch point, like highlighting some point of difference so that you do stand out. Like it might be, it's like you need to kind of think of a trigger thought that you want to start to own in your prospective customer's mind. So imagine, and it can be anything, like a recurring thought they might already have, and then it brings your brand to mind. And it just can be personality of the brand even sometimes. Here's our screenshot of, craft beer went from, well, actually, when I was a kid, you went from going to the fridge in the bottle shop and there's 4 beers you can buy from, which one's on sale. Whereas now it's, it's fridges of cans and and it's how do you stand out amongst everyone else? How do you make people choose you? It's owning these trigger thoughts. And what we need to think of is if you really want to play at a bigger level, like you really want to develop a big presence and be known for something and be more desirable so you can charge more and people still choose you, it's got to be this point of difference which is really aligned. You're never really going to be known for like 10 different things or 15 different things. The world, us, we can't hold that in our mind. We're not going to go and tell a friend, I had your product and I'm going to spend 15 minutes explaining to them. I'm going to say 1 or 2 words. It's like, what are the 1 or 2 words? If that's all I could tell a friend about your business, about your product or about your venue or, your beer, what would you like me to say to them in 2 words? And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. All I'm going to say, if that was all you could possibly have, what would they be? And then we get clear on that. And then we look to amplify that through every single touch point you have with any human in relation to your business, any touch point, like even what goes on an invoice to a venue or whatever, like you amplify this point of difference, this message. So people start to develop this consistent thought about you, and then you develop this presence for something. It could be like, like even if it was, I don't know, just some character for the beer where you're really consistent with it. Sometimes it could be as simple as something like you're the taste. When taste counts, taste, 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 taste. And people start to think taste, they think you, because you've said it consistently. Whereas if you're saying different messages, you don't develop that presence as much. It's like Harley Davidson motorbikes. They're like the rebellion, the badass. Like they're not next year going, oh, we're the safest bike on the market. They're not trying to be everything to everyone. Like a brand like Volvo might go for safety, However, they probably have to perform as well as a Mazda and a, every other vehicle, but they highlight one consistent point of difference so that when we think something, we think of their brand. So we've got to be clear. And the reality is most business owners, when we start working with them, they don't know themselves, even what they really want to be known for. But it's kind of getting clear on that, helping them to get clear on that as we go and as we grow. If you do get excited today, or anyone watching back to the recording later or anything, if you want to put a post on social media is all about sharing and gaining more exposure. Tag us in. If it's hard to see my slides behind me, I've got the Indie Brewers tag. So if you put a post on like Instagram or an Instagram story, take a little selfie, say you're having a good time on the session, tag Indie Brewers in, and also Basic Bananas, which is my business. Then my team will see it, because my team love to see it when someone says something nice about us, and then they'll reshare it to our followers. So if you post from your brand, you'll then get exposure to our thousands of followers as well. As long as you tag us in, then the team will see it, and then they'll reshare. It's almost like one actually minuscule example of what I was just sharing a second ago. Like I'm kind of trying to align. If you do say a message about us, there's a little bit of synchronicity out there with it. Minuscule example. Now, every 90 days, we go through creating a one-page marketing plan. This is how we do our plans. It's every quarter, not exactly 90 days, but every quarter. So we call it the 90-day marketing plan. You'll get, if you want to grab it, there's a link on basicbananas.com/marketing-plan. You can download the one-page template. You can grab it. It's not like an opt-in or anything. You're not required to put any details in. It's just there if you want to, as you can grab it. So I'll come back to that. It's basicbananas.com/marketing, little dash, whatever you call the little straight dash guy, plan. And the way we work through it is we have why, who, uniqueness, then marketing, where we'll always use a combination of online and offline, no matter what style of business you have, or no matter whether you're focusing predominantly on, online direct to consumer sales at the moment because the pandemic's locked everything down, or if you're focusing more on selling into venues, whatever your approach is, we always use a combination of offline and online. Anyone who says, I just do online marketing, usually they're kind of full of it. There's always opportunity, both with offline strategies and online strategies. Now, the way we work through these is the why you revisit every quarter, the who and the uniqueness. The why is big picture purpose. What are people really buying into when they buy from you? Now, the why can be just like what I was touching on before. It's like how you make people feel. It's an experience. It's like Harley. You buy it to feel freedom. You buy it to feel expression. You buy a Harley Davidson, not for the performance, not for the handling, not for the comfort either. I've ridden some Harleys. They're not comfortable. The ones I've ridden weren't comfortable, and they're pain in the butt to try and move. However, they roar and they feel good. So you buy it for this freedom, for this thing. Now, your big picture why, what you want to think about is like, how does your product, if it's your beer, for example, leave someone better off? Like, what do they get out of it? It's the experience, the connection. It's like, what impact is your brand here to make on planet Earth? Like, if it was 100 years into the future, what would you want people remembering your brand for? Remember how they did this, or remember how they changed this, or they really gave us this. It's what is this big picture why that people really buy into. The who that we check in on every single quarter is, who are the ideal customers? Now, you may have done that. Often people, when they create like a business plan, or if you work with a business coach, they might go, you got to work out the ideal customer, and you build a demographic of like who they are. Now, if you have or haven't, either way, you got to check in on this. There's more to it. You got to check in on it every quarter, because what we're trying to do with marketing is equal the thoughts of our customer. So sometimes what happens is the conversation inside your customers' heads changes. Like years back, there were probably, when there was hardly any craft beers, it was a different conversation inside our heads when we went to buy beer. Now it's different again. The pandemic came, and suddenly it's a whole different thing happening. You want to make more money right now. A lot of the businesses we're working with in more depth, you may not be able to sell through venues, or your beer that's on tap in venues is now stopped. It's dried up. They're not selling any. They're not moving it. So what you need to make money, and you need to sustain. So it's like the conversations change. It's like we've got to adjust and move quickly. you got to be doing what, maybe it's more direct to consumer sales, you know, quickly and pumping that thing up. We have all sorts of different brands we work with where they sold through venues, and also even totally completely different products. One that comes to mind actually was selling through lots of markets, events, going to markets and selling at all these markets and doing pretty well with it. And had team going to markets. But then when the pandemic came, obviously that completely dried up and instantly stopped. So they had to build their online store. So we assisted them to build their online store, sell more through online marketing. And now they're making more money than they ever did. And they don't have to leave home, you know, as they can still generate big returns. So checking in on the things to really kind of try and summarize that. Look at the demographic, like who are you selling to and who do you want to focus on selling to this quarter, each quarter? And then what are their top wants that you can deliver? Like what are their thoughts that you want to try and market to, or problems you can resolve? Like how do you make it simple? Like how do you resolve something for them to be different? And then we check in on our uniqueness. The uniqueness is what's different about you. You know, like why would I choose you over anyone else? Highlighting things like, you know, for if a customer, can say a few words about you, like I touched on before, what are they? You know, why are you different? Why would I choose you over anyone else? And we want to check in on that from time to time as well, because you might start highlighting different things each quarter. And just keep in mind, because sometimes we would do this whether it's a pandemic or not. We're always checking in every quarter, because it might be just as simple as your business is starting to evolve. You're starting to sell to a different style of customer. You're selling one product that's selling more than others, and you want to make sure you adjust your marketing message to go with it. Maybe you're selling, you know, to different venues suddenly. So it's like this different venues that you hadn't even thought of, or they're really starting to take off. So you can adjust your messaging to kind of more specialized for them as well. So we're always evolving if that's a more lucrative market for you as well. And then what happens is, and I'll just check in if you do have any questions at any point in time, fire away. I'll just check in on the, I've got the YouTube link open on another computer here. So feel free to, if you want to fire away at any point in time, or if I go too fast on something or you're not sure what I'm going on about, just post away, you know, more than happy to help. And then what we'll do is, so you're checking in on the why, the who, and uniqueness. And then we look at the marketing strategies to reach out. Now, when most people come to us, they say, I just need help with social media. You know, it's everyone thinks the answer to all their problems. I just need help with Instagram. We just need more traffic to our site. You know, you've got the site set up like e-commerce kind of store. Maybe you're selling, you know, online, doing online orders or direct sales or something, and you just need more traffic. There's a big problem with this, which I'll show you. I'll kind of show you the structure of how our online marketing flows, because it's not just, that's like one ingredient. It's like one ingredient to make a beer. You don't end up with a beer if you've only got one ingredient. You need all the ingredients to end up, you know, it's like we've got to have the a whole mix of things in place. If, for example, you have a website and you're not getting many sales with a small amount of traffic that you currently have going to that website, sending more traffic to a website that's not converting is not going to do any better. It's just going to waste more traffic. It's just going to waste more energy on these marketing platforms. So I'll go through and I'll show you how we kind of do our online marketing as well. Yeah. So once again, if you want to grab that template, it's on basicbananas.com/marketing-plan. Now, when it comes to putting things together for the actual marketing, especially in the online space, 3 ways to build your credibility and to show credibility. The first one is to say you're great. Now, that's like most marketing saying, we're fantastic, buy from us because, you know, we're good. It's the most common and least trusted method of marketing. The second way is have others say you're great. So testimonials, reviews, collect testimonials, collect reviews. You need to have these things to build trust. So it's not just you saying you're great, it's others saying you're great as well. Sometimes others saying you're great, you could think in different ways as well. It could be that you are have a business award. You know, that means that's like someone saying you're great. Yeah, it could be that you have some screenshots of people saying nice things on social media. You screenshot, you save it, and you publish that. You know, so it's like someone else saying we're great. It's not just us saying we're great. So have others say you're great, and then demonstrate you are great. This one is often missing from most small businesses marketing. Demonstrating you're great is actually showing that you know your stuff, like making sure people see it. what this will do that is extremely powerful is it shortens the decision-making period. People go through this period where it's like, whether it's an individual buying from you or a venue or whatever, there's a decision-making period. Some will make a decision in 5 minutes. Some will make a decision in 5 days. It'll take 5 weeks before they make a decision. Some will take 5 years. No matter how long it takes, you want to make sure they choose you. And so demonstrating you're great could be things like you publish a couple of articles on your website to show you really know your stuff, or a couple of video tips, or like behind the scenes things showing you actually in your craft, doing it, making your product. Examples of publishing your own reviews, where you can publish testimonials on your own website, like your own platform. Like we actually have one from Big Shed there from Craig. But just like examples, like we publish testimonials on our own website, on our own platforms, to show others are saying we're great through that way. When it comes to also publishing reviews, having others publish your reviews is a good idea. So what we mean on that one is getting Google reviews. So you get Google reviews. Here, Basic Banana is such positive, fun, caring, attitude towards their clients. Courses, community, and video worksheets, superb quality, great bunch. Every question I had has been thoroughly answered. Like, that's on Google. So it just develops. It's good to have testimonials that you publish yourself, but then to have even more trust, you have platforms like Google. Sometimes you might have Facebook reviews where others can publish reviews, and it's a bit more of an open forum. You can't control what they say in that environment. So it has a bit more trust with the prospective customers as well. For you, reviews can be two ways. So sometimes your reviews might be purely about the product, like great product. I love the, IPA, or I love the blah, 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 whatever it is, a specific about the product, and on the other hand, you should also have reviews, especially if you're selling direct to consumer, about what it's like to buy from you. So the actual process, friendly to deal with, placed an order, had super clear communication and received it in the time that I was promised, definitely buying from you again, about the actual process, because the more and more we're kind of like disconnected from brands and so on, and we're not seeing or face-to-face, that, less face-to-face, there's that trust of, if I place an order, will it take 5 weeks before the thing arrives? We want to know that it's a nice process as well. And then in terms of demonstrating you're great, things like what we do is video tips. We have a podcast, we do video tips, we publish articles. So it could be videos, a series of videos that you publish on your website of, you in your premises, showing how your beers are made and brewed, or just showing your understanding, or sharing a tip on how to do something to the product, change the flavor or something like that. It could be a little series, like an example of this. I had it was actually different industry, but real estate. In Canberra, 12 LJ Hooker officers got together to try and align their marketing and try and update what they're doing and improve their marketing. So they got me to kind of consult to them, like as a private consult with this group of 12 different officers, to come together and align their marketing and give them a marketing plan they could roll out, and brief their team on things they could implement to grow and sort of dominate the space over the next 6 to 12 months. And I asked, when I was there, I said, they flew me in, paid me very well to do a session. And I said, why did you choose me? To the guy that owned the majority of these franchises. So what made you choose me? And he said, well, one of the teams said I should check out Basic Bananas, and we should do something with Basic Bananas. And so he said, I got on your website and I watched one of your video tips. I had a look to see, what are these guys like? Do they actually know their stuff? I'll watch a video. And he said he watched a video. It was only about 2 minutes long. And he said, I actually learned something. Now, of course, I think, of course you bloody learned something, if they're good. But the thing is, he's, the guy's, I don't know, he's probably 50, 60 years old, and he's been in business a long time. He knows his industry probably better than anyone, a guy that owns multiple offices and things. It would be hard to teach him something about his space. But he said, I watched the video and I actually learned something. I said, it was good. And then he said, so I watched another video on your site. And then he said, and I thought that one was good too. And then he said, I expanded out how many videos you had, and I saw about 1,000 on there. And so he said, so I thought, they know this stuff, book him in. And so you can see about this decision-making period I was explaining, like it allowed him to go, rather than let's look around, should we check who else we could get? Or maybe there's other marketing experts we could get in. Instead, he had a look, he could see the expertise was there and he booked it in. So that's kind of demonstrating your credibility as well. Now, when it comes to reaching out and being proactive with your online marketing, I'll draw this up to make it really clear. There's the kind of overarching steps we take when it comes to online marketing are getting attention, like all the platforms really, like social media, advertising, most things that of anyone that thinks of, you know, when we think of marketing, anything you think of when it comes to marketing, they're all to grab attention. And then we move them off the platform to build community and then try and own the audience. So you've got to get them, those platforms, all marketing platforms, most of them are really to just grab attention and drive people off the platform to get them onto your own real estate, which would be your own website. So when it comes to the whole online marketing space, and this doesn't matter if it's, you know, what style of customer we're selling into, whether it's kind of like in that internal B2B or you're selling B2C, like business to business or straight to consumer. What we do is there's this different flow we go through. What I might do, I'm going to get a little wild here and I'm going to switch to another camera and I'm going to give you a close up. So I'm going to get a little techie here on you and I'm going to switch to whiteboard wall over here. So you now should be able to see a blank wall staring at you and you should be able to hear me. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to draw up a little chart here for you. And what you should do is think about doing the same. So imagine with your online marketing, we break it into 5 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, with these 5 columns, this is how we measure our different sections of our marketing. The first one is traffic. First column is traffic. Second column is leads. It might be a bit difficult to read my scribble, so I'll explain it as I go. Traffic are most of the things we think of when we think of marketing. Like you might have paid marketing activities that you're doing, like it could be, say, Google ads or, you know, Facebook ads or any kind of ad. Really, it might even be a magazine. And then there'll also be free activities that you're doing when it comes to marketing. It might be Instagram, could be Facebook again, could be video. And all of these things, everything we do here is to generate traffic. It's just one column. And this is the problem where we see most people think the be all and end all of marketing is actually just here. It's like, I just need help with Instagram, which is just one ingredient. The purpose of this next column is really to generate sales. We pop our website in here because this is where we're driving the traffic to. And it doesn't matter, even if someone meets you at a networking event, like offline, face-to-face, they still go online to see if they want to proceed with you. When we have people who land on our website, number one priority is they move towards a sale. However, as a general marketing stat, only about 2% of all traffic activities, all marketing activities will result in a step towards a sale. So this is where the huge problem comes in. So if people think it's just Instagram or just this or just SEO I need help with, if you're only converting a very small amount for all of your efforts here, you're never going to see a positive return from that. And this is why people have experience with things like, I'm sure some of you tuning in would have had, you know, paid for Google ads and people click the ads, but not enough of them proceed towards a sale to continue running the ads or to increase the ads over and over. So what we need to do is focus on the other 98%. We want to get as many of these 2% as possible, but the other 98%, next column is conversions. With conversions, what we're looking to do is increase this percentage. So we need other things on the website to try and get as many of these 98, even if they go from the point of like, from having an idea to the point of handing over money, even if it takes them 3 weeks, even if it takes them 6 months to go through this process of idea to the point of handing over money. So a website should also have an opt-in on it. An opt-in could be a little form that says enter your name and your email in return for some sort of free thing. You know, get this free guide to choosing the right beer. It doesn't have to be something that costs you money to create. It could be down, you know, get this, watch this 4-part video series on the actual process of creating different beers and how you can tell which beer is which, and, you know, be more upskilled. Most of us that drink it don't have any idea, whereas you guys that make it probably have too much of an idea that you forget how little the rest of us know. It could be as simple as that. You know, now it's something here. What this point of this is most of them aren't ready to take the bigger leap towards the sale the second they find you. So we need a lower risk option where they can just start to interact. They could pop their details in, and now you can form a relationship with them no matter how long it takes to get to point of sale. Another thing we need is retargeting set up. Retargeting, these are the ads that follow you around online. So you might have, you know, you look at a product or service, and then you're on the news website and there's the product, and then you're on the weather and there's the product, then you're on Facebook and there's the product, and people click those ads and come back. Now, the reason they're important as well, to get a better return on what we're doing in the traffic column, is we've sent people there. They might not have proceeded towards a sale. They might not have opted in. We might get 5 to 10% here if we're doing, you know, 10% if we're doing pretty well with the opt-in, where we're now nurturing the relationship to move towards a sale. Here, what happens is I might have been looking at your website, but I was just tired, or I was on my couch on my laptop or whatever, wasn't in the headspace to buy right now. And then 3 days later, your ad appears to me, and I click the ad, you know, and it jumps me towards a sale. I come back and I buy. The next thing we need is a process to maintain relationships. And this is how you're going to stay in touch no matter how long it takes to build your community. So it's always about nurturing the relationships. So you're planting seeds to reap the harvest, you know, down the track. It could be as straightforward as a newsletter. It could be like a monthly tip, you know, a monthly little video tip. It could be just any sort of tip, like a little paragraph. Doesn't have to be video or anything. It could be an article. It might be fortnightly. It might be monthly. You know, some sort of consistent touch point, so that even if it takes someone, you know, a year to make a decision to change to your product or your beer, at least they remember you. And if you launch something new, you've got this audience here now still warm to you, so they'll jump on board. You know, if they already know, like, and trust your brand, then they'll buy it when you release a new thing, new product. You get the idea. You could do an article and share it via email and share it on social media as well. And then the last column over here, we reactivate. Reactivate is where you run a promotion from time to time. And obviously, if you're doing a direct to consumer style promotion, because you're building the database, you make the full margins on your sales there as well. So what that can kind of look like too is, imagine if this is like a thermometer. So here's hot and here's cold. If this is time running along the bottom, what happens is people, they see your marketing collateral. They click through to your site. I might be looking at your website. I know who you are. I'm staring at your site right now. So I'm kind of hot. I know you're in front of me. But as time goes on, if I then close that website and I didn't opt in, I don't have ads following me around, I didn't move towards a sale, it only takes, it might be 48 hours later, I've already forgotten who you are. I've already forgotten what website that was. It's like, as time went on, my temperature dropped really rapidly. So what we're looking to do, make it really easy. Like, here's our most popular best-selling products right now. You have that highlighted very clear on your site. So while they're there, it's easy to proceed. Always make it easy for a good buyer to move forward. A little note here for you is, confused customers don't buy. If it's confusing to know how to proceed, you'll be losing sales for sure. So, and then the next thing, we have an opt-in to start to nurture the relationship while they're still warm. We have retargeting ads, follow them around while they're still warm before they go too cold, and to keep them warmer. The relationship column will keep them warm over time. So if you do launch a new product, or you just simply run some sort of promotion because you want to move some product and make some money, then you're spiking their interest with the promotion. So we keep them warm with the regular contact, and then spiking their interest there as they move forward when you run a promotion. So I'm going to switch back cameras now, and you can see why. Actually, I'll just explain just while I'm on that camera still. You can see why, as I explained before, just one ingredient here, if you're, thinking it's just social media I need help with, or just video, or just SEO, or just Google Ads, and you're driving people to a system that's not converting a higher percentage, you're never going to see a return. And this is why marketing's so freaking hard, because people are trying to get this column to work, but they haven't got everything else behind the scenes. So they don't end up with all the sales adding up over time. Whereas when you have this sort of process, you've got people coming through that you're nurturing relationships with, and they're coming through consistently to move towards sales. Whereas if you're just focusing on here and this and everything else from here on is not set up, there are a few funnels and things we help implement when we work in more depth. It's people like, what happens after they opt in here? How do we actually, create these touch points moving forward? How do we set up promotions and things? But I trust that's give you a really clear understanding today of like why this one. It's like when we first work with people in more depth, we want to get all this with a small amount of traffic to their website they might already be getting. We want to start to build out all these back-end systems. And when we see the small amount of traffic starting to convert better towards sales through all the different processes we have, then we come back to this column after we've built out those, and we start to push more traffic into the system then, because now we'll get a better return from, say, Facebook ads, Google ads, SEO of our website, and so on. There, so you can see how that works. Now I'll switch camera back, and cool, gotcha. Now, when it comes to just something else I'd like to share is, when it comes to creating, the regular content can be a challenge for most. So, your craft might be creating beer, and then suddenly you've now got to be an internet marketer, and what do you say? Like, let's say you're going to do a monthly tip and you're going to nurture that, because it's all about these long-term relationships, as I was saying, like building relationships to get to the point of sale, no matter how long it takes. And if you're going to have a monthly tip, or you're going to post on social media every week, even, it can get hard. You might post twice a week on social media, and it's like, what do I say? The same thing. We've only got 6 beers. You can't post the same beer over, what do you post about? So the way we do this, which is the way that social media agencies that work for the best in the world will do. I have friends. A friend owns a business social media agency that manages Ferrari, and a lot of actually a few big beer brands. I don't know if she'd want me sharing, but she manages a couple for a few big beer brands as well. And she, what they do, the first thing is go through this process with the marketers, with the business. And then this is how they get the content. So it makes their life for posting on social media really easy. But you can do it yourself, and then you can kind of get team to implement. And I just actually, a side note on everything I'm going through here, the most success we see, having worked with hundreds, even thousands of different businesses now over the years, the owner of the business has to kind of take ownership of these processes that I've just explained. You don't have to know where to click in every technical program, but you got to kind of zero in and look at the numbers, like those columns I just shared and things. You got to be across kind of what you want to happen with your marketing and why, and kind of own it. But you don't necessarily have to do every bit of clicking. You might outsource that to team or contractors and so on. But when you have the understanding and the control, it doesn't matter if someone comes to the business or leaves the business, you're not left high and dry, or you're not outsourcing everything that brings life into your business to someone completely. And then if you stop seeing a return from that, you might stop with them, and suddenly they were the ones bringing life into your business, and then you're stuck, or they kind of hold you hostage. I'm sure some of you have been through that, where it's like they say things like, well, if we turn it off, your sales are going to stop. And then the business owner's stuck in these positions often where they're like, shit, we're paying this agency and they're making money no matter what, whether you're getting customers, we're drawing a profit from the spend or not. And you might be still making a loss, but you don't want to stop, because then you don't want everything to stop, and you kind of end up in these tricky situations. So you do need to be across it yourself, and then you're developing your own team, and that's how you really have the power. It's like here at Basic Bananas in my own business, I can't implement all the marketing that we do. I have team doing it, but every week there's a 15-minute meeting. It only takes 15 minutes for me to look over the numbers, and the team explain to me what's happening in the week, and I know how it all works. So if something happens, or someone leaves, or something, or a number's down, I know how to zero in and kind of like let's work out how we fix it. Okay, cool. Now back to our content buckets. This is the social media process also for creating different content. Makes it easier for you to come up with content, and it makes it more interesting for your followers, for your audience. So what we do is we call it content buckets. It's almost like themes. And these are just examples that the team here has put together for me to explain with you guys today. For example, if you're just posting about beer, like that might be product. You post about your products and that's okay, but that's only one bucket. A different bucket could be behind the scenes. So what you have is you create posts or content or articles or video tips that are behind the scenes. It could be team interests, could be a content bucket. Manufacturing might be the actual kind of process, could be behind the scenes. Beer knowledge. It could be like beer knowledge would be interesting actually, and you could expand on that. You could do beer knowledge, or you could do like the history of beer and like the craziest beers ever made throughout history. So for example, you see where I'm going is if you did say, let's say it was Instagram and you did a post on the product, okay, you did one about the summer ale and and it's spring now, perfect for the afternoons right now. And then the next post you did some of the funniest beers ever made, in the history of beer. And then the next post, you did a team members behind the scenes. It could be teams interests outside of, brewing. And then it could be another post on the manufacturing equipment and process. So what happens now is it's interesting for the viewer. It's interesting rather than if you're just posting the same stuff that gets boring, especially if you've got really low engagement on your social media platforms. It's like there's too much of the same. So you need to create these different, we did one here, it was food pairings. That could be a cool one too. Food pairings, like you do a post, that could be one of your buckets. What beer works well with what food and so on. And then you might do like, one post from or each of the buckets, and then you might repeat them, but your audience wouldn't know what you're doing. They're not going to see, oh, I know what you did. 8 posts again. You're doing this pattern of, and it makes it really easy because you might go, here's our 6 or 8 content buckets that we use. If you've got team, it's what we do here. We'll say to the team, hey, everyone come up with just 2 ideas for a post for social media for each of these content buckets for Basic Bananas. Different team members come up with 2 ideas each. They only have to come up with 2 each for each bucket. And then suddenly we've got 50 ideas for posts. And then we have a team member work them out, schedule them, post them a month in advance each month. So they're always ready to rock. So it's a bit of a lifesaver, that one, the content buckets approach. And as I was saying, this is what the big agencies that would likely charge you $20,000, $30,000 a month just for management of social media. This is what they do right away with you. And then they go, cool, now we've got the ideas. We just have to find ideas for posts that fit within these content buckets. And that one's a really cool way to go. I'll check on YouTube now. And I know you can't see me, but I can see, you can see me, but I can't see you. So I'll assume you get a thumbs up for that one. If you give me a virtual thumbs up, that would be good. Cool. And sustainability was one more we had as an example there, because there are some, especially in your space, there are more and more now starting to kind of position themselves around sustainability. So sustainability can be a good one too, good content bucket. So that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the end of the content for today. I've thrown 100 things at you, like a million bits of content. And if there are any questions with those who are on YouTube, tuning in now, feel free to post away. I actually feel like a beer right now because normally my presentations don't have so much beer in them, but this is good. But and also if you want to learn more about Basic Bananas, often if people tune in or you're watching back with the video later, the easiest thing to do is just get on basicbananas.com, check it out, or email Steph. We treat you like a VIP as part of the Independent Brewers Association members. You can always email Steph, and then you'll get priority treatment. She works direct with me, Steph at basicbananas.com. If you'd like to learn more about so it's STFF at basicbananas.com. If you'd like to learn more, about how we work and how we've kind of worked with brands like Big Shed and working with Lockie now from Grain Fed up at Newcastle as well. He's currently working with us, and also we have a session online which is called the Blast Off workshop, which is a free 2-hour session. So if you're not sure, you want to have get team up more upskilled by us, if you have someone implementing for you or anything like that, just go to basicbananas.com and check out the marketing blast off session. It's free at the moment. We used to charge before the pandemic, but now we're running it as an online event. We run those for free as well. So check that out on basicbananas.com. Or if you want to, have a chat or any questions about stuff that we've covered today and want us to answer directly for you, we're more than happy to help, as you are members of the Brewers Association. So we're more than happy to help and answer any of your questions. Simply just, Steph at basicbananas.com, and that's where we'll help you out and hopefully get you generating more and more growth. It's always, business is exciting as we're growing and generating more revenue and moving the line between kind of revenue and costs to generate more profit. It's always the focus. Sweet. So thank you very much for having me, and I really appreciate it. It's been a cool session. I trust you got value. I'd also say, just from everything I've gone through, think of at least one thing you'll implement, and then the next thing and the next thing. Obviously, to generate returns, we've got to implement. Cool.
Thank you so much, Christo. A lot of great stuff in there. I've put the email address that you mentioned and the link to the one-page marketing plan in the comments there. So if you are watching it after the fact, you can check it out. A couple of people in there saying thank you, super helpful. So thanks for everyone for watching along. And check out the website. A lot of great information up on their website as well. So thanks everyone for your time. And again, thanks to Christo and the team at Basic Bananas for putting all this together.
Awesome. Appreciate it. Thank you.